try to put solar on top of my roof, we have about 20 million square foot of warehousing space across India. So that means 20 million square foot of roof space. When I say warehousing space, I'm talking about what is covered area. Plus, the FSI is 0.5. So I have another 40 million. I operate under 40 million square foot of warehousing, land. And I have the roof, the solar. I could now the regulations. There's no PPA available. In Tamil Nadu government doesn't have it. There are other governments which have it. Net metering. So these things have to change. And the lawyer / the chartered accountant, the specialist is there. MRB is there, so he will understand. No, land, try to get a TSR done before we listed. You have to go back 30 years. There will be something or the other in every land. A land can never be like free of something, especially when you go to warehouses are situated outside. I want to see some kind of a uniformity over here. I want the center to step in. Some state governments have been proactive. I mean, they've been kind of the clear earmarked industrial areas where they say, okay, you can do this, you can't do this, all this stuff. But I want some uniformity. I think this has to be there.
Okay, thanks, Krishnan.
Yeah.
I think that's a larger issue, which will get addressed at other forums as well. Finally, coming to MRB, I mean, free to comment on all the other questions as well, given your understanding. But now something specific that I would like to ask you or get your views on is on the performance of the rupee. As I said upfront,
Sriram, I'm not able to hear you. You're muffled. Yeah. I'm not able to hear you. If you pardon me, the
Sriram, Shekharoda mic vaango, please.
ஆமா, நீங்க பேசுறது வந்து கமலஹாசன் பேசுற மாதிரி இருக்கு. ஒண்ணுமே புரியல. பார்டன் சொல்லிட்டு தானே சொன்னேன். Yeah, it's still muffled somewhat.
Does it? I thought
Ipa better.
Sriram, take Shekhar's mic. I think
that's what I've taken.
Yeah. Okay.
One point, as I said, was the question of the performance of the rupee. I mean, trade deficit and all that is given as kind of reasons. But of GDP for next years. I think.
I think the battery charge has come down on this mics. Yeah, able to hear you better.
I'm trying to put the question of what Sriram wanted to ask you.
Yeah.
What is your view on the performance of rupee vis-a-vis dollar and GDP?
Okay.
In despite the fact we all know the fiscal deficit and all other parameters, we all know about it. What is your view on the performance of rupee versus dollar? And I do not know whether Sriram had sub point on that, but I have a sub point on that since I am asking that question.
Okay.
What is so great in GDP to be quoting at 100 when the country itself is almost zero? What is so great in GDP to be 100 except the Great Britain? What is that in the country to have 100 rupees against a rupee?
Okay. First question, I heard it. You wanted to ask about the speculation on the rupee, or rather how the rupee will behave, if I understood right.
Yes.
See, this budget is a very unique budget. I don't think so any other finance minister will ever have it. That they got 2 trade deals done between the budget. One preceded it, one succeeded it. And in both trade deals, we are opening up our markets. Now, whether good, bad, ugly, we'll have a debate somewhere else. But we are opening up the markets, which means on both Europe and predominantly US, we ran account surpluses. This may at least come down, if not actually increase. We will actually, that's one of the sore sticking points for Trump. And he said India is enjoying huge amount of trade surplus with the US, and so that has to be brought down. But our biggest problem and challenge is China. We have a trade of $150+ billion, of which we export 25 and we import 125. $100 billion will be the trade deficit. Roughly, I'm telling you, take or give $5-7 billion. So that's the huge elephant in the room. Actually, we require a trade FTA with China so that we can remedy this particular trade deficit. And what are we actually importing from China? We are not importing high-tech jets. We are not importing warships. We are importing furnitures, which we can make it in India. Why is it that we are doing even Pilayar Chaturthi ki Pilayar comes from China? Holy powder comes from China. Not my saying. This is Prime Minister has said that. And he has even went on to say the mooku konja chappaya irukundra Pilayar China lendu varcha. So our sonnadide, not my words, he has said so in Hindi. So what I intend to say is our trade deficit with China is already there. Current account deficit, or rather the surpluses with America and European region will come under pressure, and they may turn into at least trade neutral, if not trade deficit. So rupee will be under tremendous pressure if it is not counterbalanced with FDI flows and investments, concomitant investments, that the investment part of the agreement, trade deal had an investment agreement also embedded. If that part of it, the TRIPS part of it doesn't go along with the TRIPS, the trade part of it, we are in for a weakness in rupee. That's the worrying part as far as I can see from the macro economic perspective. The second question you asked something, sir, I couldn't follow it. Can you repeat it if the mic is better?
No, leave it there, Mike. Don't worry about it. We can talk.
Okay, okay.
The audience.
Yeah. So maybe we take 2 or 3 questions. If there's any specific question that they have.
Hello, I'm from manufacturing industry background. I'm from Reliance, where funding was not an issue there. Always, we never used to go to banks used to come to us for funding our business and projects. Even for our Geo platform business, Facebook and Microsoft are coming to us for funding. So as far as private funding is concerned, funds are available. As Mr. Shekhar said, balance sheets are very good for all the companies. Only the question is of business, which he was mentioning. One phone call from Modi to Mukesh Bhai will definitely give you 10,000 crores anywhere in India. Whatever funds which are available from private funding, definitely it will come. So it's not that the funds are not available. Only what we need to streamline the procedure and processes for any private funding to make things happen. So on that, I would like to ask Mr. Shekhar what the government can do to prompt the private people to come and invest in India.
Thanks for raising this question, because when they were asking the question of bond market, I went back, my memory went back to Reliance, because Reliance was the first organization in India to raise 50 bond in 1980s. At the time, I had an interview. I can just share this joke. I finished CA and I was attending the interview. The question asked, Shekhar, did you go through the Reliance prospectus of raising a 50-year bond market? I casually said, sir, I went through, but I don't know who will live after 50 years. Whether the bond itself will live after 50 years, I was not so sure. But later on, they went from 50, they went to 100-year bonds also. So thanks for raising that. But leaving that point aside, you asked what is important. One, a call from Modi to Ambani can give 10,000 crore for all the MSMEs. I'll be very happy. You can add additional 500 crore for MAT also, not a problem. We also need a significant CSR spend for all our social projects. Add 10,000 plus 200 crore for us, 10,200 crore. That's all we need. But leaving that part aside, the challenge is on ease of doing business. Just to give an example, if a company is running, it needs to complete 140 compliances across all legislations, which is very difficult. For MSME, if you go to bank, you talked about MSME. If MSME goes to bank, any bank lender will ask what is the compliance certificate. There must be some legislation which the MSME will not be able to comply. They are not even aware of it. I will give a classic example. In the Boiler Act, there's something called Boiler Act. Under the Boiler Act, if your boiler is not in the correct place or the boiler is not replaced within 3 years, the managing director of the company will be behind bars. He has got nothing to do with the boiler. And he has to give a complaint every 1 year that boiler has been replaced, the boiler is in working condition, all that stuff. The compliances is very high. That's the reason there are two things that has happened. Decriminalization largely has been done by the government in various legislations. Second thing that has happened where the labor laws are being brought in labor courts, where there's a large amount of decriminalization. Income Tax Act this year, there's a lot of provisions where decriminalization of offences. The government is focusing towards that. The second important ease of doing business that has happened, which is outside the budget just 2 months before the budget, the definition of small company to the Companies Act has gone changed, by which the small company definition is going up to 100 crore. That means this company just got turnover up to 100 crore, they don't have to go to the rigorous Companies Act compliances. So the government is focused towards that. In fact, just last month, there was a World Bank delegation had come to India, where I was also invited to meet the delegation. The focus of World Bank report was that how the government should enhance the ease of doing business. And that's the reason you see in this government, in the budget where the company, finance minister said, we have a corporate mitra helping the MSMEs in the tier 2, tier 3 cities with regard to compliances with the support of ICA and ICSA and ICMA. Meaning the MRA has got different views about these three institutions, which we don't want to argue here, which we don't want to bring it here. But pushing towards that MSA compliances is very important, making ease is very important. To my mind, I honestly believe there's a huge intent, less action, because somebody in the middle will not allow the ease of doing business so easily because it minimizes that power. And as Palkiwala said, India has got too many laws, too little administration. That is a problem.
Thank you. And one more question, sorry for taking the time. Regarding that tourism business, in fact, I still feel that the budget, though it has talked about the incentives that we need to, the improvements that we need to make in the tourism business, but we have to improve the quality. In fact, for example, last 2-3 days back, I saw some 30-40 people coming to the mud to have Perivaz Darshan. They were struggling to, find out what is the next item that is to be taken, how to do the namaskarams and all those things. They were all struggling. There was people, there are not many people to explain things for them. So, for tourism industry to develop, we need students like people here.
That's what I used to Bala.
Okay.
Don't focus tourism only in the Northeastern and Buddhist monastery, which is very important. Please also focus in the southern side, Kanchipuram side, southern side, where there's a lot of temples. It involves skill development, which we would like to partner with the government. In fact, JRK is here. There's a lot of representatives gone from our place to Ministry of Tourism, Ministry of Skill Development for partnering on skill development.
Right.
We are looking towards that. I'm not talking as a MUT representative. I'm not an official representative of MUT in any capacity, but I just want to tell you, this is a very important matter, which we raised with Bala. I hope it gets addressed in that days.
Yeah. No, one request is the university also, students also can take up this as a, as a future project.
Sure.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Any other questions? Otherwise, we'll wrap it. Yes, please.
Namaskar, Mr. Unanwal. So, as MRV sir mentioned about the 1987 budget speech, so we still have an interesting story, like as he introduced, and I mentioned that the 194C and 194J were introduced at that time. But we still have an interpretation issue, we just settled in this budget, supply of manpower comes under 194C. That is on the lighter note. My question is to Shekhar sir on the safe harbor rules. So it's a good move that we got into the 15.5%, which is pretty flat across the sectors like R&D, IT, and all those. And even the threshold has been increased from 300 crores to 2,000 crores. My question is that there are certain ambiguity or maybe some clarifications needed. Like we are just waiting for the rules to be announced. So what could be the timeline of the rules that would get pronounced? Thank you.
My expectation is that the rules should come by June. One thing I can talk about this government done all the groundwork before coming to the legislation. The rules are almost back of the ready. They'll introduce the draft rules once the bill gets passed. Probably I expect the draft rules to come in May or June, and then finally should come between June to July. It should happen. And there's nothing going to be changed except the forms will have additional columns. You can safely presume there's not going to change. The rules will not change anything from the provision what has been introduced. To that extent, you can be rest assured. And one more thing also, the earlier rules did not have a proper definition of an accountant. Now that accountant has been brought under the line with the Income Tax Act, so that you have a clarity. That's all. This is all going to be same. There's no much changes will be there.
So we'll wrap the session with that. And many thanks to the panelists. Special thanks to those who came in virtually. Special thanks to MRU. I think it was past midnight. He was actually in Australia. So thank you for being up here. Thanks, Krishnan.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Very interesting discussion. Thank you, everybody. Over to the MC. Thanks, Sriram. And as we move to the wrap up, I request Sri Satyanarayanan to deliver the closing remarks and word of thanks.
Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. I'll not take much time. I'll quickly wrap up the session. We have already overshot the time. So yeah, this budget, as everyone has rightly pointed out, despite of several challenges that this government has faced, unstable neighbor, the microchip challenge, US tariffs, multiple challenges has been there at the point of when the budget got delivered. So despite of that, we have put up a very good budget, and which will set up the growth strategy for the next 20 years. That's what everyone feels. And I would also recommend the teachers and students to go through the economic survey and the preamble written by Anant Naganathan on the how they have steered through this entire this tough times, how they have steered the economy through this tough times, which will definitely throw up a lot of light to you as an management students, as also Mr. Bala had rightly pointed out. Definitely, some of you should go to the parliament next year to attend the budget session. So that's what from the university side we also request people, students, to actively participate in this. Moving ahead, I'll quickly move to vote of thanks. I'll not take much time. So thanks to every panelist out over here. That was really an enlightening session, and we got a lot of insights into the budget. And Bala's session was really, really insightful. We understood how really the budget gets prepared by the government, and how they have the run-up sessions to the budgets. So these things really put up a good light to us. And also, I would like to thank every panelist out over here, the most learned panelist that we could find in today's scenario. Thank you, everyone, and thanks to the audience to giving us a patient hearing. And thanks to the venue and the Cool Events event management company in getting us the live relay and everything. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So